We're back. It's the Welsh Esports League, and we're here for game number 2, playday number 2 of R6. It is I, Golimolu, joined once again by the ever-wonderful Conchcasts, and we just witnessed the Oregon any percent speedrun effect from the Pirates. Another very dominant performance from this team, who have looked real good so far this league. And you know what? We get to see them again, this time taking on a brand new opponent. It's the Pit Ponies.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited only because of, well, I was kind of like at the beginning, I was like, oh, bro, we're gonna watch the Pirates play again? Not the Pirates, man. But the more and more I think about it, I'm like, hey, the Pirates, man, I want to see more of this. And we're gonna see, because I don't think we saw enough there. I don't think we saw enough. And I'm kind of hoping that the Pit Ponies, as sad as it may sound, okay, and no offense to anybody on the side of Dragons, I am just hoping that we see a lot more of a clash. I would love to see like a back and forth tie, just because I would like to see how Pirates deal with the pressure of an opposing force putting that pressure back on them. You know what I mean? Like I said, it looked like throughout the whole entire of that game, to the Dragons, it seemed like they were very resentful. They didn't really want to take on fights. They sort of got in their own heads that we take a fight, we lose. Like, we ain't winning that. So why take it? Let's give them everything. Hey, listen, I'm gonna sit in a corner and die. Yeah, because I have no space. But I'm hoping the pit ponies will go, hold on a minute. You're taking our space. Now, this is our space. And the one thing I will say, which I'm hoping happens in this game, is that we see pit ponies. Well, Blitz Rush. What the hell are you talking? I'm hoping the pit ponies stay a hold of Pit. Because I think that would make quality casting if I can say that the pit ponies are in their domain. You know, like they're in their stables even.
How many times can you fit pit into a sentence there? The pit ponies posting up in pit, postulating problems per opponent's persuasion?
I swear you just tried to find every P word and add that to a sentence.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if it works, it works. Do you know what I mean? Like you just pick a letter and then you just go.
I mean,
through the dictionary, aardvark, avocado, apricot, apple.
I think at this
apple
point,
sauce.
I think at this point you are losing your mind. If I'm going to be quite frank with yourself, but I get what you're saying. You know, I like the alliteration attempt. You know, because pit ponies. You know, pit ponies. That's alliteration.
I managed to get a 7 in my English language GCSE, so I'm actually quite good at alliteration, similes.
Right, go on then.
Give you a simile.
Go on.
All right. Cold like a fridge. There we go. That's a simile.
That was a really bad one. We'll go
with
it at this point.
Fine. Hold on. Warm like a radiator. That was more up your alley, right? Okay. How about you got metaphors?
Yeah. Oh, he knows his metaphors.
Yeah, know the metaphors. You got
Does he know personification though?
Oh, that's a difficult one.
Oh.
Is that when you treat an object like it's a real thing?
Like it's
like a person.
Yeah,
we're on fire with this one.
Oh, you've got he's learning it.
Pathetic fallacy.
Oh,
with that one out of nowhere. Before this just becomes an English literature revision podcast, back to Siege. The Pirates versus the Pit Ponies should be interesting. We're on Oregon again. So we now have this idea of what the Pirates want to do, right? We saw their attacks, all 6 of them, and they had a variety of different ideas. We saw them attack the basement 4 times and the top floor twice, and it was a pretty decent spread of ideas, right? They attacked from freezer and laundry a couple times onto the basement. They looked very good taking that space and pushing their opponents back and playing really well around this sort of combined joint effort push. We also go for that more traditional bunker side take where they just peel away any pressure around the sort of pillar, drop down that E-box hatch, and very quickly have access to that site. So the ponies, they have a couple things to think about and to prepare to deal with. But like you said, this game could be a much more of a tight contention. The ponies played the Dragons last week and won 7-1. So that obviously means that there was an opportunity for the Dragons to sort of capitalize on a couple of mistakes, and it will be interesting to see if that's something that the Pirates can pick up on too, if they're ready to just continue this very quick pace that we saw from them.
Yeah, no, most definitely. So I think, you know, and I'm going to keep saying this. Listen, anybody who knows me when I cast, I mean, you'll know this from last week. I pick one man and I focus on him. I can't even remember who it was last week. I remember I kept mentioning some kind of man's name. But all I'm going to say is that last match, my boy, I mean, nobody could stop, man. I mean, that man literally walked down into freezer. He went, you know, and he was quite literally as cold as a fridge because he was in freezer. Yeah, you see?
Oh, bring it back circle.
And he literally killed like a Deathstalker. And that's the thing. he literally took so much space that literally space wasn't even created anymore. That man, there was no such thing as space, all right? Which obviously space would be defined by open position because that man made every single fight enclosed, cased in. Like you said, he would take freezer. We would then see him sit there. He would sort of wait. He would sort of sit in anguish, and he'd be like, "Okay, what happens next? All right, let's see what happens next." And then all of a sudden, somebody would come down from the backside. Somebody come down the main stairs, and all of a sudden, we got dragons going. Hey, listen, man, I need to move. I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
They move. They think, I gotta be careful. That man's on the main stairs. Listen, I ain't dealing with that. So I'm gonna run this way. And all of a sudden, you've gone. Hey, buddy, listen, this ain't your day. This ain't your day, pal. Your head is taken clean off. And he does that in such an inspirational way. I gotta say that because once again, it's this team. As I kept mentioning last time, they play like a snake. They take opportunities at the advantages. They don't just send one in to refrag. Then they quite literally encase their enemy, and then they'll slither around. And all of a sudden, like we saw it literally. I'm trying to think now with the Legion. He had, we saw the butt of Legion stick
that was
out,
beautiful. That was
and
really
Ben was
nice.
sat there, and he was ready for that Legion to run out. Now you've put pressure on him, and you've ultimately killed him. But let's just say if you had put so much pressure on that player rotated out, Ben would have been there. Ben was literally getting ready to strike back. Potentially even as well. I think we saw Ben make a little bit of noise, and that's what really shook the Legion player, and you was able to capitalize on it. There's stuff like that just ultimately goes so much further than I think anyone could really imagine. Like you and I, you know what I mean? Like, at least in my head, it makes sense, but I can't make sense on how it's even coordinated because that requires a lot of coordination. Now, I don't know, obviously, the backstory of a lot of these players in terms of the Pirates. They could have been formed previously, but listen, all I got to say, if they are all new to playing with each other, bravo. I mean, bravo. That requires a lot of timing. Like, don't get me wrong, pro level scene, let's be real, you're probably going to see that very commonly. It's nothing to really like shout home about in terms of that, but when you really, really deep it down to this level that we're sort of playing on now, not to say that we're playing at a low level, but the level in which you would probably expect from these, being like a startup tournament, you know what I mean? Trying to pull up as much talent as possible and then limiting that as well to being Welsh talent, at least 50% of it. To see plays like that and the coordination like that, I mean, that goes a hell of a long way. And I mean, that to me is what inspires people to not only play more for well, but also brings up the scene and ultimately just brings, hopefully, some more light into Siege in general as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big purpose behind the whole event, right? It's to continue to boost and build up the grassroots scene. And I think grassroots scenes in esports are so important. You got to have that growth from somewhere, right? You look at sort of more traditional sports. That's why academies exist. It's why people scout all over the world, right? You want to bring up the next generation, the next group of people, just to continue to feed and support the scene. And I mean, R6 is its whole history has been so well littered with just very strong young players coming up into scenes. The last two majors have both been won by players in their rookie splits. It just shows how like deep the rosters and the talent in Siege goes, and it's all about just bringing that to the forefront, giving that the platform, and we're seeing it with teams like Dragons, who are just dominating, who are showing themselves off in the best possible way, and now get to run it back on Oregon again. This time around, though, I think they're starting on the defense, so we didn't really see much defensively from them, right? We saw the one round. They won it pretty handily. We get to see 6 more.
I mean, that's the end all be all. We could even see more than 6 if we go into overtime, by the way, which I'm just going to say, I kind of hope we see a bit of overtime. We are, slowly but surely getting things ready now to jump on in. We are still awaiting a couple more players to join the lobby. But once again, it's the Pirates the Pirates have delayed us, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're going to shout at anyone, shout at the Pirates. Listen, they ain't ready. They ain't even on the ball, okay? Which is not good, okay? Because that last game, I feel like the Pirates should have been in here 10 minutes ago. Hey, we got done in the game like what? 35 minutes? Like 25 minutes too? And you're not here?
Well,
come on,
see,
man.
back in the heydays of me excelling as a Silver 1 ranked warrior, I had a little ritual, which was a 3-hour nap. 3-hour nap is the perfect pre-game ritual. That does sometimes mean you end up accidentally taking a 5 or 6 or 7-hour nap and sleeping through a game. But when you do wake up, every once in a blue moon, you arise from that slumber. You're ready. You're gunning fingers. Your WASDs, mate. You're unstoppable. I think
Wazdies.
WASDs. I just love that saying. I think it's from like what is it? It's VHS, the YouTube web series.
God.
That absolute throwback from like 9 years ago, mate. That show's iconic. But yeah, just
God.
the WASDs. Where he's like, my WASDs. He gets like his
Do you know-
hand stood on or something.
Do you know what my pre-game ritual used to be?
What's your pre-game ritual?
So I would know if I would be having a bad day that day, so I
Mm.
would know if I was going to do bad because I would know that I would need if I only slept 6 hours, I knew it was over. This it's terrible today, so I'd always make sure I got that perfect amount of sleep in.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, sleep is important, and I'm someone
Lies.
who,
Lies.
I'm someone. Trust me, I am someone who cuts out. I will try absolutely everything not to go to sleep. But I will tell you this now: before a game, getting that perfect amount of sleep is absolutely amazing. You'll play so much better. Then I used to meditate because something that happens with me when I get into really intense situations is my heart rate goes through the roof. So being able to like lower myself down and sort of get in that zone was brilliant. And then I remember I used to have a bottle and I used to like fill it with sneak energy. I would down that shit just to make me concentrate because it was the only thing that would make me be able to go, all right, I'm ready. Now listen, I was a console player back then as well, so call me whatever you want.
Let's
But
go. PS4 or
alright,
Xbox? PS4 or
PS4,
Xbox?
mate, come on.
Let's
PS4.
go.
Xbox. What do you mean
Up
now?
the boys.
But all I'm gonna say is the difference between me on a bad day, you know,
Yeah.
I would be sat there playing Maestro, screaming at my team, to then me playing Maestro and clutching 1 versus 5s. You know, I was a pretty goated Maestro, put it that way. I mean, if it was, I mean, it's just Maestro at the end of the day. Maestro is such a lad.
Maestro back in the day with the ACOG, with the messed up hip fire where it got more accurate the more you shot it. And
Hey
it was
man,
just a
it was
laser.
messed up. It was law, man.
so-
It was law. It was literally his law.
It was so dumb.
It was his law, man. It was literally in the
It
law.
was the dumbest thing.
He was really good at hip firing. So what did we do? We gave him hip fire. Also, can I just say, he holds that gun in such a way that in real life, hip firing it wouldn't even be that bad because you go like this. Hip firing it is not even that bad. It's like on a mounted turret, right? You're like, you know what I mean? It's because you got extra support. So in theory, it makes sense why he used to like have so much good hip fire. But obviously, once again, as was proven by Zofia, passives via storyline is actually really, really bad.
Law should not impact balancing. That is my stance on it. I think it should influence the character, maybe the gadget, but not the balance. Like random things, like withstand is now back in the game, right? You grab that rook armor, you can withstand if you have the armor palette. That makes sense to me. It's a nice little buff to rook, gives that sort of extra sustainability. Doc's buff right now has that 200 health stim, makes him, you know, that classic GIGN combo right back at you again, sort of thing, right? You know, that was the iconic thing back in the day, right? You'd see these old chalet, mind you, defenses, where people would just go like 4 ACOGs. Back when Bandit grab the armor plate with Rook, get your stims ready with Doc, and you just like fight before they get to the building. We're not quite in those days anymore. Those ACOGs slowly taken away from operators to make the game playable as an attacker. But you know what? We're into game. We're into Oregon. No more ACOG bandits going to be running around. You can still go ACOG on defense with the with Vigil on the Boss G if you're feeling cracked with the slug shotgun. You know, you never know. It's a thing you can do.
Good luck. That ain't happening.
Mate, you can do it. Like, never underestimate the ACOG Boss G spawn peak.
All I'm gonna say,
it's elite.
All I'm gonna say is the man who influenced that, I don't really like. There's two Rise of Fames for me, okay? Number 1, I was in a Jaeger himself video casting, and number 2, I had beefed with a bikini body on Twitter. Those are my 2 Rise of Fame, and that will stick with me for life. As sad as that sounds.
Mate, Jaeger himself, what an icon to the community, though.
Oh,
I remember, Jake Safter is a real one. Jake Safter is the real one. Do you want to know a fun fact, actually? The Jake Ulsters, a limited run elite team that competed in the Welsh Masters event run by EsportsWales nearly 2 years ago. Well, there was no Jake Sauster actually playing, but he did get the credit for it on Twitter. So it was just a bunch of people named after him, just pretended to be him in a game. You had 5 just Jake Sousters in a lobby together. That was a wild ride.
It's like one of my favorite jokes of all time, because Alibi, how she has like the clones, obviously and she's Italian, right? So talk about Alibi. Oh my god, I brought it to life. But I always say that basically her clones are just imposters.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
I'm just loving this because I can see his face right now with the stream cards. That's silly, man. They are imposters.
That's so bad.
That's
so bad.
He's currently placing multiple imposters. Whenever you call the gadget now, it's not. What are they usually called anyway? I don't know.
Prismers.
They're not prisoners, they're imposters.
No.
We're trademarking it.
I morally object.
10
I
seconds.
love me a good little dad joke, right? But that's just a step too far.
Nah, that's quality. You can't even like. That is quality.
I hate it
Attackers
because it's
objective is to
kind of
locate a
good.
bomb and
There we
defuse.
go. Talking about good things, we're into our first round. 3 minutes on the clock, and it's looking like a pretty traditional hold from the side of Pirates. What I would say elaborate or fancy. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen for this game.
Yeah, trying to get that control towards the top of the tower, just make sure there's no one lurking around, no one hiding away, clear the space out methodically. Makes a lot of sense. You've got the Habana and the Ace lined up, so they can get access in towards Master Bedroom, as well as getting open attic and start to pry a bit of that control away from the Pirates. Then on this Oryx though, contesting towards his main door, able to get one of those drones, then actually just use that jump to go right back into the attic and get himself to a bit of safety. I like the way they're setting up this roam, right? They're playing very, very cautiously, very hard to catch off. And yes, you got the Lion, yes, you got the Jackal, but so far able to sort of avoid those gadgets for the most part.
Most definitely so, and it's, if I'm going to be honest with you, the lineup from Pit Ponies is very aggressive in terms of trying to shut down roamers. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Pit Ponies watching the last game from the Pirates, because I don't think they played a game last, so they have plenty of time to sort of evaluate and understand what the game plan is for the Pirates, which is, if I'm going to be honest with you, is quite bad for them, because ultimately now Pit Ponies have more of an idea what Pirates want to achieve / do. We do see though, Jacko, he's just waiting, he's cutting off this main stable out. We'll light him up underneath. That'll be Geist taking a little bit of fire. He needs to be a little bit careful. I like how all the players, by the way, have got PP. That's commitment to the fighters. Just a small little weird thing to point out for this. We see Ace still getting that walking class going. Once again, it's a huge thing. And, well, honestly, turn around as well. Maybe potentially we're going to see that pit getting opened up because, well, we all know that the Pit Ponies want to take it back because it's their pit, man, alright? That's the end all be. At the end of the day, it ain't pirates. It's not pirates, it's pits, man. The ponies. But we're just seeing slowly but surely now work being made. 50 seconds on this clock, though. They need to start getting something on the move because even though they've got these sites open, there's not a lot in terms of potential. As I see that you will get some potential. Nice. It's now 5 versus 4, which is not what you want with 30 seconds left on the clock. Ben will take heavy fire, but luckily will be fine. Slowly but surely, Jackal will find one. No, that'll be a kill onto you. Really well played so far, but immediately alert. Both players pushing on through. Braver will find Jackal. But nice race, refrag. It's now 4 versus 3. 19 seconds, 22nd there is on the go. EMP's come up through. Jackal will find a good night, and that'll be quite literally a good night. Ryan will find Marvis, and it's now 1 versus 4. It's all the turbo, and unfortunately, he won't manage to find Ryan because Ryan will find him with a shotgun. And we see another dominant round from the Pirates, swinging on through, and well, their masts are all up high, and they're set sailing on the open seas.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a difficult one for the ponies, right? They had a bit of space, they had some control over towards Trophy, but it took them a little bit too long to get that breach opened on up. Geist not quite in the position to do it earlier, wanted to just try and make sure that there was the utility off the wall. I think that just
Attackers
didn't
need
help
to
them out a
locate
ton.
and
And it
defuse
just meant that,
bombs.
yes, they had these opportunities to walk on in, but ultimately they couldn't really execute on that in a timely fashion. They started losing picks, trying to walk through, still players below,
Bomb
and
located
on the
by
road that they
attackers.
hadn't dealt with, who just kind of came back to haunt them towards the end of the round. And now the Pirates, claiming that first round win, will move on to the basement site, and it will be interesting to see, right? How do you choose to hold on to this? You're seeing a very standard setup with the shield on elbow. You've got the ADSs to give it some protection. Jet once again rocking this Malusi to use the Banshees to, first of all, slow down the attack, but secondly, to relay that information, right? You hear them going off, you hear the wop-wop sound that it makes, you know what's coming for you, and you can adjust your defensive setup appropriately. And I think overall, the setup from the Pirates just makes a lot of sense. I like the fact that they're bringing his army. They got Ben on this roam. He wants to play aggressively. He wants to get in the pony's face early on. You're putting him on that vigil to hide away, right?
Yeah, most definitely so. And I think ultimately, if Ben can last, not even get any kills, if Ben can just distract for really a long amounts of time. I mean, we saw pit ponies really struggle with their time that last round. So if another spanner gets added onto the works where they're trying to find Ben, I'm a little bit scared on what sort of ground we're going to be playing on for the pit ponies, because it didn't look like 19 seconds ago, and they didn't even want to get into sight then. It looked like they were still very resentful, which isn't good. You know, you want to start making those advancements. They do drone at this top floor, though, in small tower. It'll be Goodnight now slowly making an approach. Ben will hear the footsteps. We'll rotate on through. And that will be now, once again, Goodnight's hearing those footsteps back. We'll know that there's a potential opponent nearby, but Ben drops back and plays it perfect. He's just waiting that time. He's already wasted a minute. Well, if he makes now 30 seconds, he's done his job. Ample, what I would say.
Yeah, and he's still got those impacts if he wants to make himself a rotate, if he wants to try and escape, as you see the explosion going off there to give him that lockdown. Through towards security again, just able to play away, and look at that. Down into the basement, pops the gadget to avoid Lion's scan. This space has been taken, but he's still just jostling around on the staircase. Now finally going to fall back towards the lockers to take up a sort of earlier position, and this is a great showing from the Pirates, right? You're seeing this little bit of aggression coming forwards from them, as well as you just looking to see if he can maybe pry away for something. Habana opening up E-Box, Meats going to fall back, wants to try and play that life, and look how much time they bought for themselves, right, Conch? There's one of the things you said. How long can they play for this clock? How much can they waste from it? Well, a good amount of it. 1 minute left. The attack has very little to show for it. They've opened all 3 sets of hatches, but they haven't found themselves an opening pick. They haven't got that real pressure inside of Freezer, but that's going to be the first thing to go. Goodnight looking to try and maybe engage onto Ben.
This will be huge if Goodnight can get a kill. Does take heavy fire, though. Luckily enough, though, not enough to down himself. Ryan, though, they've got this nice little cross angle right here, and Goodnight needs to be so careful. At any wrong step, he will die here. But he has an out position to potentially capitalize on as much as he possibly needs. Now, he needs to be careful because of the smoke. Obviously, with that overstat increase, he can obviously get down quicker. Braver, though, will fight nice. Well, it's not looking good for the pit ponies. 30 seconds, and not a lot to show for it. Yes, you may push everyone down into sight, but they've just fallen back to strong positions that now you have to remove, which they're finding difficult. And as I say that, you will find Pura. And it's now 30 seconds. You need to make a move. You need to get in there. Obviously, that Daku will fall. And, well, it's all she wrote. Because round number 2 will go to Pirates. Pit ponies are lasting longer than the Dragons, but they aren't doing a whole lot with that time that they're wasting.
I think that's the big thing, is that the time is just being played so elegantly by Pirates. You're seeing Ben on this roam just doing a great job of playing around pressure. It doesn't overextend, doesn't overcommit to taking any gunfights. If he feels uncomfortable, he'll drop back. And you know what? That's the perfect thing that you want from your roamer. It's just that very smart caution. And buying a minute and a half, dropping into the basement, continuing to play around a little bit. They don't quite know if it's safe to walk down. But a minute left. You have the hatches open, but nothing else to show for it. You haven't cleared out elbow. You haven't had that spread across the map to really get good control or utility removal to push down Freezer, to push down Laundry. Ultimately, the ponies just kind of run out of time trying to find this phantom Ben on the defense that they could never catch.
Most definitely. So, and this is exactly the brilliant space that sort of the Pirates are bringing. Like, you know, we saw a lot of resentment from Dragons that last game, right? And I'm going to keep going back because obviously we've just seen that sort of all play out. The Dragons were doing a very similar thing to what the Pirates were doing, but the Pirates Pirates are adding in the
Attackers are
fact that
moving
they're
to defuse a bomb.
slowing down the attack, and then they're immediately dropping down to power plays. When you play in a powerful position, after you've wasted time, like I said, you've wasted all that time pushing people down the site. Yeah, you spent like 1:40 pushing everyone back to the site, which is lovely, because nobody's died, you haven't killed anyone, which isn't that bad, because you're on defense, on attack, sorry, ultimately you want to push everyone down, but when you haven't got a lot of time then to force their positions, they've got utility to clear, 1:10 just isn't enough, unfortunately. And once again, it's like 15 seconds on the clock, and everyone's going, "Oh, we've run out of time. We've got to move, but where do we move to? What do? We don't really know." And as we're talking about things that we don't really know about, Will's going to come from the terror as he swings on in. You needs to be a little bit careful, though, as I see that terror will find you. Shaking his head, though, he's telling him no. Terror is extremely low. Oh, I mean, at the end of the day, he did reset his HP, but I don't know, man. I thought it was funny to me. I don't know why that was so funny, because ultimately, I don't think if that was the play, but hey, listen, he's still one-shot bullet, so, but hey, whatever he wants to do, that was just funny to me. Either way, 1:40 on the clock. You see Braver holding his position. Ooh, it's a nice little kill on a good night. White literally says good night, sleep tight, and wow, this position is so strong now. 4 versus 4, life lead in the favor of Pirates. Time is ticking, though. That time is wiltering on down. We see Ben slowly but surely going up those back stairs on his way to tier 1, coming up to tier 2. Oh my god. He pulls out a suit. No one's got backwatch except for the drones. Braver, though, takes heavy fire. Ben is on his way, sneaking his way on through. Will destroy one drone, which is best give away his position. I would have liked to have seen him not destroy that and potentially try and sneak up. The players immediately go for a rotate, try and catch him off, but unfortunately, he's already moved. Ben's nowhere to be seen, and they're all just as lost as anything. Guys, though, we'll find Braver. It's a 3 versus 4. Things are looking up for the pit ponies.
Oh, he's behind them, though. He comes in behind them, pumps the shotgun, ready to take another on the doorway. He can't be caught. He's escaped. The line scans come in too late, and they're away scot-free. And you're looking at this, right? They're pushing upstairs. They're trying to get this space. The site is below. There's still a deployable shield. There's still a frost mat. There's still so much in their way. Jacko does have access to that hatch, though. That could be a sort of saving grace for him here if he can get through, if he can get past this smoke. You've got to recover that diffuser to get down below. 21 seconds for them to pull off the 3v3.
I mean, that would be absolutely huge. 10 seconds on the clock. Line scan comes on up. Trying to scout these last remaining players. 10 seconds now. Pressure's all on the site. Ben is sat in a very comfortable position. Cover shots in. Ben will take out one after taking heavy fire. Jet comes from behind. Will take out one. Talk to Jacko now, but Ben will find Jacko. And it's round number 3 going to the Pirates. Pit Ponies starting to elevate their gameplay. But unfortunately, they're not the stallions they once claimed to be.
Unfortunately not. It's just, again, this similar problem of just the time management. And I think it's if they can get a little bit faster through, they can have the drones coming in with their entries to give them that support. You're seeing a lot of the time, right? They get information on someone, they try to push it. By the time that information has been relayed, you come off your drones, you catch up to where they were. It's no longer really relevant. There's the old saying, information lasts 4 seconds. Right, 4 seconds after that information, it's no longer relevant. It no longer counts for anything, because that's enough time for someone to rotate to a different position, pick another piece of cover to play behind. Heck, they can just be long gone by the time you catch up to where they were. And we saw that happen the second round, right? Where's Ben? Well, the moment they spot him out, they take a couple seconds to actually figure it out for themselves. By the time they get in a position to chase him down, he's 5 seconds gone. And you're seeing this once again, where they're pushing for this top floor. They're trying to take that space above. Okay, great. We get the space above. We can't really do anything with it now, because everyone that was there, that we were trying to hunt down, has fallen back into safer positions. They're playing tight corners with shotguns that we can't walk up into. You're kind of left to struggle, and it just results in them having to jump over a deployable shield into sight. And guess what? Someone's watching it. Someone's going to collect those kills. The ponies just need to get into these positions a little bit earlier. They have the right idea, Conch, and I think that's what's really good to see. They clearly know, okay, we want to get this breach from meeting open into kitchen. That gives us the option. We want to have this space to play around in green corridor, to have the contention from the doorway, give us options for where we're going to drop that diffuser case. The problem is they're not doing it quick enough.
This is literally a game of the pit ponies. They don't have the time. like, I know you were saying about moving 30 seconds. If we remove 30 seconds on the Pit Ponies' time, bro, I don't even know, bro. They need to gain 2 minutes. Unfortunately, so, and that, you know what? That ultimately comes down to, I think, they're just coordination maybe not be up to par compared to Pirates. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that this team is necessarily not playing strong, but as I say, you will take out Jacko, so with a jump out as well. Thank God, no. But ultimately, what I'm sort of getting at is that you've got to play in a way that everything becomes efficient. Siege becomes very, very, very bad and not very good for yourself whenever you don't play efficient. So efficiency is the key to go. Now, we do see none other than this Jackal to slowly but surely get over Captain Tau, sorry, to get over the fact that obviously the Jaeger's been bought, but well, we have a war mine, so what is that?
You gets the kill. Look, they're so focused on trying to get Jet, which they're eventually able to do, investing that second asphyxiation bolt just to cut off the rotation from the doorway. And able to just grab a couple more kills, though. This defense bounce back every time, and they lose the castle and armory. They've waited half the time in the round for that position. That is a spot which oftentimes you'll see teams try and take for free. They can just rappel on in, and this is another example of the Pirates playing this very contested style of defense. And now the Pit Ponies in the 2 versus 4, you're looking at Terror and Marvels, who really need to pull something out of their pocket here to try and catch up. The diffuser dropped up above. They're going to have to try and get in a position to recover it, but there's so many members of this defense waiting in between you and that case. The first of which is going to take you down, Ryan, on the hatch above in meeting with the SMG-11 and Marvels.
Couple of shots in. Marvel's taking on the fight. You peeks on out, and oh my God, the bailiff to seal the deal. Marvels, unfortunately, will fall. And wow, I mean, it's Pirates, man. I there's no words. I generally thought that Pit Ponies was going to come in here, and we were going to see a clash. And like, you know, and I'm not saying it's not been, but I mean, Pirates just look 10 times just better than anything. Like, I don't even know how to describe it, because it is just efficiency from Pit Ponies that's letting them down. I mean, for 1 kill, which was Jet, 3 kills went out on the boards. Now, don't get me wrong, they weren't all people who were trying to push Jet like they got narrow-minded, but it's another show of efficiencies that you have so many people trying to clear out Jet that all of a sudden half your team's gone, and there's not a lot you can do beyond that point. I mean, if Pit Ponies had even made out of it, I would have been like, fair enough. Like, if they'd won that round, fair enough. But unfortunately, the efficiencies just aren't there. They lose the fight, they lose the rounds, and it's just gonna keep falling like that unless they have some kind of answer to deal with the aggression of Pirates. Because ultimately, once again, I can't stress this enough. They are playing textbook
10
Siege.
seconds to go.
This is
Bomb
literally.
located by attackers.
They're literally. If I was to write a book about
5
Siege,
seconds
they're
to
writing
go.
it exactly how I'd want it to be sounding like.
Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
Well, now we're going to see how Pit Ponies adjust to this second basement attack. Ben doing the same thing that he's been doing before. Oof. Needs a second shot to get the drone down, but you know what? That's fine. We're in a very low stress environment at the moment, Conch. They have most control of this game. 4 rounds to 0, still yet to drop around this season. And you can see, just collecting a couple drones, falling back, continuing to play this very hard to punish style of defense you love to see. We're just waiting. They have this small tower control now, the Ponies, starting to make their way across, but they are worried about above, and they should be. Juve is there. How are they going to punish him, though? The scans coming through give a good indication. Wonderful shot to deal with that threat before any damage can come of it. They have that opening pick now. This is a great start for them. They now just need to see if they can just push that the next step. Try and catch another.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're just stationary. What am I seeing? Like, guys, I understand you don't want to push up, but ultimately, Jet is winning. Like, this is classic Siege, where we're just staring and we're just waiting, but ultimately, the opposing's winning. The defense wins whenever you just sit there and stand. Attack, you have to keep moving. You have to keep making things flow. You've got to keep moving. The instant you sit still like that, I mean, that was like, what, 12 seconds of nothing being done. And I understand it wasn't safe, but then have some with you to be able to drone forward. Or drone forward yourself, gain that advantage. And, well, Good Knight has literally just slept himself as he blows himself up from a nade. And that's the last person you want to die is Diana. With that, I mean, she's got brilliant utility with the nades and obviously her droning as well. And now it's even things back on through with a 4 versus 4. Rooney's footsteps will get revealed, so Jack will know exactly where she is. But let's be real, was she going to be anywhere else is the real question. Unfortunately, no. Jet will merely try and move, trying to get back to the Terror. Comes up in, and ooh, Geist will go Jet, but braver. Multi-O Geist with an easy refrag. Well, it wasn't really a refrag, it was more of a retrade coming on through. It's now a 3 versus 3. 45 seconds on this clock. It's still anybody's game, but with time is money. Terror will seize the opportunity to say, oh, braver. A 2 versus 3. The best position pit opponents have been in so far tonight. Marbles will take a couple of shots now as he rotates on through. Ben will be the one to dish out that damage with Freezer in control of 30 seconds once again. Is time going to let down the pit ponies? Marbles will drop, will take... Oh, what the hell? I thought that was going to be a kill onto Ben, but unfortunately not. Ryan is cleaning it up. He finds himself a double. The pings are coming on through. Jacko will find Ben. It's a 1 versus 1. Ryan versus Jacko. Ryan's been on fire, but Jacko is the man to watch. 7 seconds on the clock. He has to look for this frag. Ryan's going to play so safe. He's going to hear the footsteps even though he's playing there. Ryan will peek and find Jacko to seal the deal and will be ultimately falling in the hands of Pirates. Running round number 5. Things looked very, very slippery for them, but wow. Oh my god. Ryan stepping up to honestly save that round.
And again, there are 2 things I want to say about that clutch, okay? The first is to give credit to the 2 players, Ryan and Ben, alive for Pirates, because they played that so well. Right, they were split up from each other, right? And what's the first thing that they decide to do? Ryan drops out of playing inside of stock to come behind, to get a little bit closer to his teammate to watch that freezer doorway. What does that mean? It means the moment this drop from IQ happens, down the hatch, they are ready to make sure that that pick does not go in their favor. They're ready to make sure that they can take that gunfight in the 2 versus 1 advantage. At worst, you're left in a 1v2. At best, you're in the 2v2 that they end up finding themselves in. The other side of things, the ponies, the timing was off. Right, they had a good idea. Drop the hatch, try and get in behind your opponent and cause that immediate threat. The problem was Jacko didn't walk in from laundry at the same time as they needed the 3rd player to walk in from freezer. You want to be doing that simultaneously. So you threat this long corridor from inside a laundry whilst having the tight swing on the freezer doorway while having the drop. That's what creates that confusion for the defenders, where the numbers advantages really shines in that position. If they can time that a little bit better, right? They're on a 5 seconds gap between those 2 things happening. You shrink that down to, well, ideally simultaneously, but even a second gap. You drop hatch, that draws the attention, you swing the doorway, you grab the kill onto the vigil, you trade out. You're now in a 2 versus 1 situation. You can continue to play that advantage. Very good attempt by Pit Ponies, and great round to be in that position. A touch more tidiness, and that's a fantastic round for them.
Oh, most definitely so. Like you said, it was all, honestly, gold were in their favor, even though Goodnight had put himself down. You know, ultimately, it wasn't even that bad, you know, the position they were in. But once again, it was just taking too long, and as you said, just not playing our efficiencies correctly. And you've, though, will get taken out by Jacko, and where was he a minute in? I can't believe there's a minute already. This time flies in Siege, I'll tell you that much now. Would you see you've getting heavily fired on up? But hey, listen, he's got a kill, he's done his job, he drops back and he plays safe now. And this is ultimately the style that Pirates are going for. Waste time. Do I get a kill? Yes, let me run. Do I get a kill? No. Have I wasted a minute? Yeah, lovely. I'm out, and I've done exactly what I need. Look at them, they're all so focused. And as I say that, Terror is the one to focus on Jet, and unfortunately Jet will be the one to fall. Drones are coming on through onto you. You need to get out, but he does go for a little bit of a challenge. A little bit of a pre-fire through the wall. Doesn't manage to connect, unfortunately. Let's be real, if he had got a kill there, by God, we would have been singing from the heavens. Minute 20 on the clock, though, and Pit Ponies haven't really done a whole lot. They've just tried to focus out you, and all you've done is gone, okay, I'll move. Hey, I don't need to stay here. But, you've got a little bit too aggressive. Terror will get a kill. 3 versus 4 in the side on the favor, for the Pit Ponies.
And again, we're seeing a very similar thing happening this round. They got more time to play with to do it, though. The Hibana, the Ace, It's Ace downstairs, able to start working away at this meeting wall, give them that space on in, and you can see the angles you can drop. You'll be a little bit more cautious. The IQ running across will quickly be taken down by Ben. The Toxic Babe not landing on the Ace, who's able to stick and commit to this plant, but gets shut down anyway from above. Ben able to find the line needed. Geist grabs a kill back on this hatch above. Has a position to really play Disruptor here as he just drops into the middle of the site, immediately taken down by Ryan. Good night. Now finds himself in the 1 versus 2. The defenders playing together by this security corridor. Give him, there's no fear, a couple things to think about, but they do not know the location of these 2 last defenders, able to walk in and get that diffuser, but the doorway will present the perfect little line of sight onto you should Ben decide to go for the swing. Tracers coming through, creating that distraction while Ryan gets close on the pillar, grabs the final kill, and the Pirates continuing this utter domination, this trend of success. They are 6 rounds up to 0, another flawless half for them. They are 1 round away from completing the 21-0 opening set.
Wow. I mean, there's no worse than wow. All I've got to say is that I just want to give a big shout out to Juve and Ryan. I will say this, that Juve will waste a lot of time there. And as you put in that, not in that last round, but the round before then, you may have finished me off, but at the end of the day, you forgot about Ryan.
Attackers need to locate and
waste so
defuse
much
bombs.
time so that Ryan is set up for these late smoke rounds, and he excels at when those players are pushing him. I mean, this man, I don't think has yet won like a close engage. Like maybe he's lost at the far range or something like that. But as soon as you're in his face, he strikes. I mean, actually, he hasn't lost a gunfight. This man is 10-0. I mean, he hasn't lost a gunfight. People are challenging him, and he's winning. He's cleaning, and he's, like I said, he's just bouncing so well with you. You've wasted that time. And well, Ryan goes, thank you, you've done what I
10
wanted.
seconds to insertion.
Plays it beautifully. And I mean, that's exactly what we want. It's not even necessarily a case that 2 people are
5
playing
seconds left
next
before
to each
insertion.
other, playing well, bouncing off each other. It's a case of
Attackers
you
objective
plays the early game, gets the advantage or gets the time advantage, gets a kill, and all of a sudden it's swung immediately back in for Ryan to clean things up later on the round. And once again, it's all about just that switch swap. And I mean, hey, we're going into attack now, so is they going to be put away by the Pirates, or are Pit Ponies going to manage just to claw their way back on through? And I mean, bringing it to Chunka, it's not a good start.
I don't know. Alright, now hear me out. Tachanka, yeah, you have to rework from being a complete meme. He's still not great, but there's definitely positions where you can make it work. The first gunfight going in favor of Juve, it looked like he's about to pull his drone out. I think he threw it on the ground, got his gun ready in time to win out the opening engagement of the round. They banned out his butt. So what does he do? He grabs a very similar operator in terms of the tools available in the 0, right? You got a solid gun with the 1.5, a gun 6 secondary, hard breach gadget. Fills that similar void, you can take up that mantle once again and doing a very similar thing, pushing in, getting aggressive, making life very difficult to play inside a freezer as the hatch above them is now getting whittled away too. Ben with that pressure gonna burn out the Saria gate to give themselves the option to drop the hatch should they want to. The leg of the smoke getting spotted out, but Jet can't quite find enough shots to get the final blow before he's able to run to safety. Guys, to get the kill onto Ben. That's this Laundry player kind of shut down for the time being. They do have another person in position to continue that aggression as the split continues to commence.
So I'm loving this constant back and forth coming up from the Pit Ponies, though they know that losing this freezer side will be terrible for them. So they're trying every ounce of power to keep it alive. Jet, though, holding these angles. Same with you. He's getting ready for a potential drop. He's sort of playing and toying with it, sort of making that sound go all over the place. Braver, though, will find Terror, and it's now in the lead for the Pirates. A minute on the clock. They need to start making their advances now, though. Pushing on through will be Ryan. Couple of shots in, but unfortunately won't connect. Pushing on through, they'll be Braver, cleaning up shop onto Geist. Good night, though. We'll say good night to you, but you will fall. 3 versus 2, couple of shots in. Braver's absolutely taking the cake on this round, though, as he finds another one on Marvel. 45 seconds, Ryan's get his punt on down. It's up to good night now. Push on through, but Braver to seal the deal, and it's Pirates. It is literally Pirates. The sails are high, they're on the open seas. The mast is up, and well, they're set sailing to a victorious Welsh Season 1 victory, I will tell you that much now.
I mean, what more do you want to say, right? The Cardiff Pirates continuing this trend of repping the country, standing on top of the leaderboard. Fantastic stuff from them this evening to go 14-0 this evening. They didn't drop a game all evening long. I mean, just phenomenal stuff. And I mean, look, they are now the team to beat. You're looking at the rest of the lineup, the rest of the league. You got to try and bring it to them. I think the Puffins and the Swans, we saw them have a close game against each other. Maybe one of them is going to be the team that needs to try and contest against the Pirates, but it will be really interesting to see as the season ends. We come to the end of the round robin. You start to look towards the playoffs run. You know, how does that unfold? But I don't know. I mean, look, Pirates claiming the points, keeping themselves on top of the league. I mean, they're doing a phenomenal job. And with 3 wins, 2 more games to go? Can you catch them? 3 more games to go? Can you catch them?
You can. I mean, I want to apologize to Pirates first of all. I know I made the meme at the start, like, yeah, we got Oregon twice, we got Pirates twice. Oh God! But I want to say this wholeheartedly from the Pirates now that you guys played brilliantly. I mean, it was brilliant siege. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I don't think we saw the highest potential of the team only because we saw 7-0s. But I'm so glad that at least we were able to throw the pit ponies at them because I feel like we saw, at least from what I saw from the Dragons compared to the pit ponies, was that I think eventually the Pirates, had to eventually think to themselves, we need to step things up. Yeah. Okay, this isn't no walk in the park at this point. Don't be wrong, like, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like at the end of the day, pit ponies was absolutely just wiping them. They had to like really like pull in the reins. But there was a few times where, it was a bit like, oh, okay, Pirates aren't looking too hot here. But then all of a sudden, once again, it's like that bull analogy where the bulls are butting heads. It looks like pit ponies that dug their feet in. Pirates go, hold on a minute, boys, you ain't doing that. And then they will just slide their feet. They will find their ground and be able to power up, push down, and ultimately, win that tussle. And it's just been like that constantly. It's that back and forth. But ultimately, Pirates are always able to find, and I will always make this joke and this sort of analogy, the sails, are open. The wind is in their favor. And my God, are they sailing towards that victory?
Yeah, 9 points, 21 plus round difference. It's going to be difficult to catch them at the top of that leaderboard. You're relying on consistently winning the rest of your games as well. So I think the only team that hasn't lost a game is the Swans. So for the Swans they're the only team that can beat the Pirates in this league if they continue this winning form. It would require another team to win all their games and then beat the Pirates. So that game is going to be a very interesting one to see if that's going to be the case. The Pirates don't look like they're slowing down. They don't look like they're going to stop anytime soon. The league might already be in their hands. There's a couple more games still to play out, so I don't want to say too much. Don't want to introduce any sort of voodoo curses in here. Don't want to ruin their form before it can really get to its peak. But so far, fantastic performance from them. And you know what, Conch? We only have the 2 games to show you wonderful folk at home tonight. So we had a quick recap: 7-0. Oregon again, 7-0. Very strong performance. The Pit Ponies, a lot of good things for them to take away. Let's be honest, right? The game being 7-0 doesn't reflect how strong they were in some of these rounds. There were some real opportunities for them, and just a couple tweaks, a couple bit tidying up here and there. I think we can really see them contesting at some of the other teams in the league. I think they've got good things coming for them in the coming weeks.
Yeah, I mean, that's well said. I'm hoping at some point, though, I don't care what's going on. If Pirates are versus Swans, we need to be on that. I don't care what's going on. We need to be on that. Because like you said, I think that's going to be, at this stage, the game of the ages. But yeah, I mean, at this stage, the Pirates are looking dominant. They're looking strong. And unfortunately, I have to say, like, this is, who's going to end that reign of terror? It's not looking like anyone at the moment. Like you said, there's a lot of good things though for Pit Ponies to take away. Definitely not a team that I would say, I mean, even though that looked like a 7-0, looked like it obviously was a sweep, I got to say that, there's definitely nothing for Pit Ponies to turn around and go, we played terribly, because they played extremely well. And I think if we'd seen Pit Ponies versus the Dragons, I feel like, for example, the game would have gone differently, right? I mean, we're talking like Pit Ponies would have had a lot more of a better chance, you know what I mean, compared to versing the Pirates. So, you know, like I said, there are other teams that I feel like Pit Ponies is going to excel against. But I mean, like you said, the Pirates, they're just unstoppable at this point. And I don't think, unless an iceberg gets in the way, which might be the Swans, I don't see them, unfortunately, colliding with a bad collision course at this stage of the table, essentially.
Yeah. And, well, on that note, we will have more Siege gameplay next week. Same time, same place. Got Overwatch on Thursday. That's going to be our next event. So make sure you're back for that as well. But otherwise, it's been a wonderful evening. I've been Golden Molly, joined by Crunchcasts. Take care, everyone. Have yourself a lovely evening. We'll see you next time.
See you guys. Take care of yourselves.